My name's Penny, and my healing journey began in the summer of 2021 when I found I had a breast cancer tumor. And I'd already been given one of Dr. Joe's books by a dear friend of mine 6 months before, and I was practicing the meditations anyway, but not with much conviction. And when I found the tumor, I was like, right, okay, now this is my time to focus. And from the diagnosis to the surgery was 4 weeks' time, and by the time I went for surgery, I'd shrunk the tumor by 50%.
Hang on. Did you ever miss a day?
No.
Okay.
No. That felt serious enough to get out of bed for. But I was really aware that the tumor, it was early stage, and it felt manageable, but I was very clear that that was my wake-up call, that was my early warning, and that if I didn't get under the bonnet of the reasons why that had happened in the first place, the next time around was not going to be that straightforward. So I then had to go on a journey of looking at the reasons why I'd got the tumor in the first place. And I had had a whole history of ill health from my teenage years. I'd had chronic fatigue, I'd had all sorts of undiagnosed digestive things, just grinding ill health. And it culminated when I was in my early 20s. I had a goiter, and it all moved really quickly, and I had my thyroid gland taken out. And then from that point, I had 30 years of medication, trying everything I could to get my thyroid working properly. And it was just really, really hard work not having a functioning thyroid. And when I was doing the meditations, I was really aware that that was where the problem lay, that I had a kind of constriction around my throat. And there was scar tissue from the surgery, from the thyroid taking out, but it was much more than that. And I knew that there was a real energetic blockage that I hadn't unpacked. And I tried to do that in the 3D world in lots of different ways, but the root of that was in my childhood, and I was sexually abused throughout my childhood by my father. And what began as a physical, violent act of restraining and silencing was something that I'd taken into my adult life as my own pattern of self-silencing. And that began as a child when I realized that to be safe, I had to be silent and invisible and not presence myself. So being up here is a really big deal for me. Thank you. And I'd been at an event in London where I'd heard you, Dr. Joe, say, if you've got a problem with your fifth center, tell the truth. And I sat with that, and I realized that not lying is not the same as telling my truth. And I realized I had to start to speak my truth and learn what that meant. And the meditations were the place that I got there. I had tried for a long time. When I was meditating, I was like, up the center, that's 5 fists hard, I'll just pop round that, think that's okay. And then I got to the point where I was like, no, I have to, the only way, I have to go through this. And so I just did that thing of, I thought, I'm going to just milk it. I don't know any other way to work with it. It was such a constriction in my throat. And I did the blessing of the energy centers a lot, and also the breath was just pushing the energy up. And it started to move, and it started to clear. And I started to feel better and better. And then came a day when I ran out of my medication, and I just didn't take it. And I continued to feel better and better. And I went and had some bloods done about something completely unrelated, just as a maintenance thing. And my doctor said, what are you doing, not taking medication? You must feel terrible. We have to sort this out. And I had my thyroid panel done, and the results weren't just good, they were fantastic. And I haven't taken any medication since.
All right. You want to get stretched a little bit? Because think about this. She had her thyroid removed. Remember that part of the story? She had her thyroid removed, and all her thyroid values, all of them, are within normal limits. Now, I would never consider this unless there was a person in the audience that had the same condition, had her thyroid removed, and then, I know this is big for me too, grew a new thyroid. Like, what? Stand up, Shay. Just show them your face. Where are you? There you are. Her doctor dropped the ultrasound, ran out of the room. That was way outside the box. So you see, there are footprints in consciousness. She is not defined by her past any longer. Yeah, she used the tools from her own learning and self-awareness. If I'm going to move energy through this fifth center, then I got to move energy through it. The breath was no longer, oh God, I got to do this before the meditation thing. She was doing it to move energy. She was actually doing it to open that center. She was blessing the energy centers and moving that energy up because she wanted energy in that center. And the body is a record. It stores the trauma, it stores the memory, it stores the emotion. It shuts down in certain areas. Of course it does. What's the alternative? What's the alternative? Is it living on medication? It's not that medication is wrong or bad. It's just that there's an alternative. There's another way. There's another way now. You can't say that this is impossible. How could her thyroid levels be back to normal without a thyroid? That should bother you. That should get you thinking like, oh my God, like we are just scratching the surface here. Anyway, she's the example of truth. Wouldn't you agree? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.